The king of puppets, Romeo. This boss is a two-faced fight, the first being a giant robot and the second being the king of puppets himself. This boss, in all honesty, is very difficult to beat. He has the highest amount of moves out of any bosses that I've talked about so far, and his second phase is altogether something completely different. But hopefully after this section of the video, you will be completely knowledgeable in all his moves and know exactly what to do in order to overcome him. First things first, if you are dodging him, I need you to equip this item next to your pulse cells. It is incredibly important. The next thing to note is an electric weapon would be the best weapon of choice for both first phase and second phase. The first move we are looking at is this pirouette into the ground stomp with his right hand. Sometimes he'll follow up with a second of the same move, and sometimes he'll leave it at just one. But ultimately, if you are parrying him, from the moment he starts spinning, count around between 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds and you should be able to perfect parry this move. If you are dodging him, I suggest dodging to his right so you can get one hit in between both moves. The same timing applies and you get some chip damage to his health, which is always amazing. His next move is this double swipe, first with his right arm, then with his left arm. The indication for this move is he retracts his outer arm and then swipes at you with his metal ones. From the moment he starts retracting, counts 2 seconds and that should be a perfect parry. It's around between 2 or 2.5 for the second hit. You can dodge either left or right and that will be fine. If you can get one hit in, then that's a bonus. His next move is this left arm swipe. 2 seconds from the start of this animation should be the perfect parry. Dodge to his left to avoid the move and get that one free hit in. With this move, he is just creating space between you and him, but be careful of the arms going into the floor because they will do damage if they touch you. I would suggest just dodging the move, but if you do want to parry it, it's around about 2 seconds from the moment he starts spinning his hands. If you are parrying him, I counted 8 perfect parries until he shows the first white outline around his health bar. This also includes hitting him after each parry, so with 8 perfect parries you should see the white outline around his health bar. Once you see the white outline around his health bar, wait for the right moment to charge attack him and break his posture. Once you've done that, feel free to also charge attack him a second time before going for the visceral attack. After you've done this, charge attack him one more time before he stands up and his health bar should be at 50% or less. The character you're seeing right here is at level 1 or level 10 and I was able to do this much damage, so that means you can do considerably more. If you are dodging his moves, you won't be able to stagger him until much later, but constantly punishing him after every dodge and you should take a chunk off his health. If you do, you should trigger this animation. There are now a few new moves that he has added once he started this animation, so let's take a look at them real quick. If he twists his body, retracts his head and puts both arms on the floor, it's an AoE. Come out of the area and you should be fine. This one is a shorter alternative, but the same rules apply. With this move, he retracts his head and spins his upper body in a circular fast motion. It's an AoE that gets you everywhere around the map, so the best or safest area is between his legs. With this move, he spins his fingers like blades out in front of him. The best way to dodge this is to wait for the left arm to attack you first. Once the left arm attacks you, dodge into him and charge attack him. This move is the same as phase 1, except this time he ends with a jump over your head if you are parrying him. If you are dodging him, he doesn't do this and it's just the same move as phase 1. These types of moves are the same as phase 1, except this time he hits you with both his short and his long arms. So make sure you parry twice whenever you want to parry these moves. With this specific move right here, it's the same as phase 1, except this time he swings back. So instead of hitting him, wait for the second swing and then punish his attack. He also has a couple jump attacks. With this one, he puts both arms on the floor and then lands and spins as he hits you. As soon as the second arm hits the floor, counts about 2.5 seconds and you should be able to perfect parry it. If you are far away from him, there's no need to get closer. If you are closer to him, dodge the second arm into the ground and you should be underneath him, giving you some free damage and he doesn't touch you. With his second jump attack, he puts both arms into the floor and then jumps into the air. He suspends himself in the air for about a second before landing. After this second is your indication to dodge and he shouldn't touch you. If you do find yourself in front of him while he's doing this attack, run straight through the gap and keep running. He will completely miss you and he will miss the second attack that follows. With this move, he shoots some fireworks on the ground around him and then he follows up with a small AoE attack. I have found personally that by sticking to his left or slightly behind him, you can completely avoid the fireworks on the floor. You can also run away to avoid the AoE key attack. His final attack is his red attack, in which he slams his entire body on the ground and then swings both arms around his sides. The best way to avoid this, just run away from it, even though he got me here. If you want to parry him, I would say the whole attack before the initial hit is around about 3 seconds. But be careful with red attacks, because if you do miss the parry, it'll do a heck of a lot of damage. The second hit is around about 2 seconds after the red attack. But once again, it's probably better to just run away from it. You should now be in phase 2. With his first move, he jumps in the air and spins towards you as he lands. From the moment he's in the air, it's about a second until impact. If you're dodging him, dodge either right or left and then punish that attack with 1 hit. With his next move, he throws his weapon at you and then dashes towards it instantaneously to hit you a second time. Count 1 second between the throw and the first impact, and then half a second for the second hit. If you are dodging him, dodge the first weapon throw and he'll miss you with the second hit, allowing you to punish him afterwards. Now the issue with second phase is because he moves so fast, a lot of his movesets can be seen as 4-hit or 5-hit combos. Now I might be able to break down every single one of his moves, but you might find that when you're fighting him, he throws all of them at you together. So with this section of the video, what I aim to do is make you aware of his moves so you know what to expect when he's about to do them. That will allow you to also get better with either dodging them or parrying them as time goes by. This move, although pretty fast, is easy to dodge. The red eyes are your indication to dodge. Once you see the red eyes, move away so he won't hit you. This move is probably going to be the one that throws you off guard the most, because you instinctively think he's going to hit you as he comes close to you, but the actual hit is as he spins around. So the trick here is to dodge at the very last second as opposed to dodging when he's close to you, which is probably going to be very difficult to remember, but once you get it down, it's pretty okay. It's the same thing with parrying. The only difference of parrying is it's difficult to get down a specific time frame in which you should parry. So the best thing that I can tell you is wait until you see the back of his head. Once you see the back of his head, press that parry button and you should parry him. A lot of times throughout the fight, you'll see him drag his scythe across the floor like this, leaving a fire trail behind him. Try your best to not step in this fire trail because it does a lot of damage. He does, however, love to follow up with another move after the fire trail. Sometimes he'll jump in the air and then spin towards you as he lands, like the first move that he does in the second phase, or he'll do the same thing but this time follow up with a red attack. Now his red attack is he hoists himself up with his scythe and then stamps on the floor. You can easily dodge this by running around him so that you avoid the attack and then punish him from behind. If you are parrying him from the very beginning, he takes around about 10 perfect parries to be able to get the first white outline around his health bar. Be mindful though, because he will not allow you to stagger him until he's either idle or he's in the middle of an animation. So be patient with him, let him do his thing, and then get that sweet visceral once the chance is available. He also loves throwing these kind of combos at you every time around the fight. It's very difficult to pinpoint the time frame of when to parry, but I would say a good rule of thumb is to always wait a second or a second and a half between each hit to be able to parry him. But let's take a look at these combos real quick. This first one is a spin attack followed by 3 swipes and then an uppercut. The spin with the 3 swipes count about 1 second between each hit. From the 3 swipes to the uppercut, it's around about 1.5 seconds. The second combo is 4 moves of the exact same type and they are all 1 second between each hit. Now with Romeo being as difficult as he is capable of not only mixing these combos completely differently, but also shortening them. So sometimes he'll just hit you with 2 hits instead of all 4. Sometimes he'll hit you with all 4. Sometimes he'll hit you with 1. It doesn't really matter with him. His AI is quite fluid with doing this. But as long as you are parrying or dodging him correctly, as well as punishing him when the chances are available, you should be okay, no matter how long it takes, because it will take a while for you to get used to the moves, as well as damage him while you do it. Remember this guy? Here's where he comes in handy. Throughout the entirety of your fight, you should see your Fable building up. I recommend not using your Fable art until this very moment. Once you see him charge up his scythe like this, your Fable art will knock him completely out of this move he's about to do. This move is very devastating. It has killed me a heck of a lot of times and it lasts way too long. Now there are guides out there that tell you can just walk to the side or to the left or something like that, but it's not so easy for me to do, and this is the best way that I figured out that works. If you use your Fable arts, you can knock him completely out of it and he doesn't do it. If you are dodging, however, he does this move twice. He'll do it around half health and he'll do it again when he's almost about to die. Make sure to recharge your Fable after the first time using your Fable arts so that you're ready for him again. With this move, he charges across the ground, leaving a trail of fire behind him, then he jumps towards you. The only part of this move that does any damage to you is right here. The others do not, making this move pretty easy to dodge. This attack right here is another variation variation of the red attack that I spoke of earlier, only this time he jumps up in the air, spins, and then ground stomps. If he does hit you, he will follow up with another spin slam attack. If you are both parrying or dodging, the best thing to do is to run away from it. Another variation of the same red attack is this one right here, and honestly it's all the same. Just run away from them and you'll be alright. One more thing to note, if you are going for a weapon break, he takes a round total of 30 perfect parries to break his weapon. And that's about it for the King of Puppets. Honestly, this boss is very difficult, so take your time, do not be greedy, dodge when you can, punish when you can, and parry when you can, and you should be alright. Even if you die, it's okay, you just know what to do on the next round.